the best.
So we picked up Cousin Eddie from Knoxville, and that's when the adventure really began. We started driving out, got on the highway, and as soon as I hit the first just minor uphill, I was like, oh crap. He's just started coughing and sputtering and struggling, and that's when I knew this is going to be a long trip. So as I'm going up the hill, Chris is riding behind me, and he's struggling. I'm thinking, come on, please don't let this, just get me to the rest stop. So, I'm thinking, cars are passing, they weren't honking, everybody was polite. We get around and we get on the road, and I think I can. He starts getting a little bit more speed. I'm like, yes! So we're cruising down. We get to the rest stop, and I pull in, and I'm thinking, okay, let me just go in. Let's get some, because it felt like the transmission was slipping. It felt like, just everything. I probably should have just, right there in the guy's driveway, I probably should have just changed the oil and done all the stuff, but no. Cousin Eddie Adventure had to do it. So we get into the rest stop. I go in, I buy oil, I buy oil conditioner, I buy fuel conditioner, that Marvel mystery oil stuff. I buy, let's see what else. I got some coolant, figured I'd put that in, and then of course, being the dummy that I am, I decide that while it's warm, I am gonna just open the coolant, just to, since it's running a little hot and probably low on coolant, let me just loosen the cap and see. Bad move. I loosen the cap, it starts shooting into the overflow thing, and I'm thinking, surely, no problem, it just goes right into overflow. Nope, overflow's dry rotted, so half a gallon of coolant goes onto the ground, and I just kind of got out of the way and let it go. So, let that cool down, had coolant. Eventually that cooled down. I opened it up, I put the coolant in, I opened up I did the tranny, pulled out the dipstick, put a little bit of transmission fluid in there, ran the gears. That was cool. Put the Marvel mystery oil in the gas tank so that when I started to fill it, it would be good. Put a little bit in the oil, topped off the oil with some high mileage, full synthetic. And then just, by now we had been there, I don't know, about an hour and something. So then I pull it around to the pumps, and I'm thinking, it's kind of leaning a little bit. Maybe let's see if we can put some air in the levelers. So I put air in, and like one side filled and one side didn't really, so Cousin Eddie still kind of leans to the left. Got the gas in there. I thought, hey, why don't I top off the tires with air? So I get out my little, cheapo air pressure gauge, plug that on. I'm like, yeah, it's low. And I check all my, look, all of them are low, but they don't look low. So then I look at Chris, and Chris goes, Dad, your gauge only goes up to like 50, and these tires take like 100 and something PSI. I'm like, wah, wah. So I go back inside, I buy a truck gauge. So now I got a truck gauge. Put that on there, and yeah, they needed some. So I went ahead and I tried to fill them. Not very good. So I said, you know what, good enough. Then I fill up the tank, and by now we had been there like 2 hours. So I said, we need to get back on the road. So we zip everything up, grab us a little bite to eat, get back on the road, and he's shifting a little smoother. Loving it. All right, Cousin Eddie, we're cooking with gas now. So we get on the road, and we're cruising right along, and slowly but surely, I think I can. He's doing a little better on the hills, but not so great. And they didn't have high test. I wish they would have had high test. I think that would have helped. And so we're cruising along, cars passing us, still not honking. They don't hate us. And Chris is riding in the back. I can't hear a dang thing. I mean, Cousin Eddie's super loud. The dog house is not very well insulated over the engine. So then my brother and sister start texting me. Hey, how's it going? I'm like, don't text me. Hey, how's it going? Ha ha ha. Don't text me. You're going to make me die because I'm texting and driving this car that requires all of my attention. So I'm like, whatever. So I'm cruising along and it starts to rain. And I'm thinking, oh, okay. So I hit the wiper thing, and thinking, dang, nothing's coming on. So then I remembered that the guy I bought it from said he had put a toggle switch for the wipers. So I'm like, oh yeah, toggle switch, okay, I got it. So I hit the toggle switch, and the wipers are like, whoop, 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 whoop. I'm like, oh man. So now I don't have a driver's side wiper, and I'm like trying to peek and drive, and I'm only doing 55 anyway, so I figure what can happen. And then the wind comes every time a truck comes by, and it's like, wah! And so I keep going. So that scares the living crap out of me. And we're cruising along, and then we get to the hills of Chattanooga, which scared the living crap out of me. That's when people started honking as they passed. They did not like me going like 20 miles an hour over the hills of Chattanooga, but I didn't care because I needed to get Cousin Eddie home, and I was fearing for my life at that point. So then we get past, and we're doing pretty well. I'm getting past Chattanooga. I'm thinking, this is pretty cool. Truck passes. I almost die. Get past that Winnipesaukee thing. I'm thinking we're getting closer. We get up to Scottsboro, and I'm thinking, we are home free. We have got this. Thank you, Lord. We're good to go. Engine spools down. I'm like, no, it didn't just do that. Please tell me it didn't just do that. So we pull off to the side, and I'm thinking, okay, it's like freaking 10 o'clock at night. It's dark. My son pulls in front of me. He's got his flashers on. I got my flashers on. So it still has a little bit of juice, but it just won't run. I'm thinking, what the heck? So unbeknownst to me, one of the positives had dropped off. The guy changed out the ignition, and the main positive lead to the ignition had dropped off. So nothing. I'm like, oh crap. And I did not feel like waiting 3 hours for AAA to come. So I'm like, okay, we're going gorilla on this bad boy. I go, son, get the tow strap. V6 Kia Borrego, you're going to be doing some towing. 22 miles from the storage facility. We hook up the tow strap, and off we went. It was a little scary. We even passed a cop. I had my flashers on, but somehow we limped him in. And I'm kind of glad. I didn't really like at first that the parking space was kind of on an angle, but that came in real handy at the end, because once we got it in the storage area, we were able to take off the tow strap, and I was able to just let off the brake and coast right into the space. And then after that, of course, my friend Eric White, he comes over and looks at it. 2 minutes later, he's doing the tester, hooks up the positive. He's like, try it now. Whoa, 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 boom. Cousin Eddie, back in business. If you want to hear more about Cousin Eddie's adventures and the Cousin Eddie Project, like and subscribe down below.